No, man, you're wrong. The only way that you build trust is by telling the truth. Straightforward, not a bunch of fucking, words that you pull out of your ass because they sound nice and all that stuff. And besides, this is probably personal feeling from me, but if you only have 2 months and you are prioritizing trust, release the Epstein files, man. This is a fucking trampoline rocket ship directly straight to public trust. Even if you came tomorrow and said, hey, here it is, we have the proof, 100% they stole the election, I would be like, where are the Epstein files, man? Like, who gives a. Hello, gringos y gringas, beaners and beanerettes. Welcome to the very first edition of El Racist Latino. And today we're gonna start simple. We're gonna just do a watch along of this very, very controversial interview with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. And yeah, we're just gonna go subject by subject, and I will give you my opinion and comments on this because it's a disgrace, very, very heartbreaking and depressing. So the interview was conducted by Maria Bartiromo. I guess she could be Latina herself, maybe Italian. Let's get to it.
It's Police Week, Maria, and so it's a really momentous occasion for law enforcement, for the sacrifice they put in for the country. The deputy and I have been going to events all week, and the most painful part is being with the families of the fallen. But we're here to remind America that there's a consequence to the freedom that they have, and there's good men and women that keep stepping up for that fight. So, it's a big deal that you're here on Police Week.
Thank you. And I saw the honor wall, and I want to walk past that with you. I unfortunately was on Wall Street on 9/11, and my heart goes out to the families who've lost their loved ones. Dan?
Yeah, 9/11. I was an agent on 9/11 with the Secret Service, and I just remember, as you probably do, even from the media perspective, the chaos. Remember, nothing worked like we thought it was going to work. So the director and I, we've both been deeply inspired, obviously, as everyone in America was, by tragic, horrible incident. But I know when Kash and I are sitting there in the morning, that is the single motivating factor for us, is keep the homeland safe. That is priority number one.
And I want to ask you about that. Now, I'll go into some of the specifics. But, Director, you've said many times that the FBI has been politicized. Mm-hmm. So what are your plans to rebuild trust in this fine?
Okay, I guess nothing controversial there on the first subject. Police Week, of course, defund the police. That's all ridiculous. We need more police, and it's hard work. And yeah, they deserve higher standards, actually, and the public deserve higher standards when it comes to police. I think it should be a 3-year to 5-year learning, training. Everybody should know jiu-jitsu. Everybody should handle weapons properly, obviously, and all that stuff. And regular psychological checkups, good salaries, obviously. I mean, the fact that it's like a 6-month training and they get paid minimum wage, and they're fat, they cannot even chase any criminal successfully. It's just ridiculous. And well, 9/11, obviously, very, very tragic event. It's not a stereotype that we all remember where we were at 9/11, 2001. Of course I do, even though it was almost 25 years ago. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to get so deep into the conspiracies about 9/11 because those are very long, but I think we can all agree that there are unanswered questions, right, regarding 9/11, and questions that were answered, yeah, that nobody really believes, that they were blatant lies, so let's just leave it at that. 9/11, inside job, not an inside job, doesn't really matter because we have some basic questions that hasn't been answered in all this time. So, okay.
Institution and depoliticize the FBI.
So we have a multi-part process. First of all, our priorities. Simple. Crush violent crime. Defend the homeland. Rigorous organizational accountability. And the fourth, which leads directly to your question, aggressive constitutional oversight with Congress. The way we rebuild trust is we already have the men and women here in the rank and file that signed up to be cops, that signed up to be intel analysts, that signed up to be special support staff, that want to do the work. That's why we're sending them into the field. We can talk about that later. What we need America to know is that this place was politicized.
What are you talking about? We build trust by having the people here who want to do the work. This is a lot of words that mean nothing. No. No, man, you're wrong. The only way that you build trust is by telling the truth. Straightforward, not a bunch of fucking, words that you pull out of your ass because they sound nice and all that stuff. No, man, you just tell the truth. Or you stop fucking lying. 3 words, whichever you choose. Just start telling the people the truth. Stop lying, stop fake delaying, stop. It's gonna be next month, it's gonna be soon, it's gonna be. I wish they would say next month actually. It's gonna be soon, in no time, it's on the way. Like, just fucking say people straight. We can do it, we cannot do it, it's gonna take this amount of time. If after this time has passed, if nothing happened, ask me questions. Update me. Like, dude, the way that you would treat a customer if their order is delayed. Hey, fucking, let me know. Let me know so I can push. Right? This should be the role. And the FBI and the system in general, the CIA, the government, international governments, NGOs, and organizations like the Fed and the WHO that are supposed to be the World Bank, all the UN, NATO, everybody lies their asses off forever since the inception of that organization, whichever you want to choose. So in order to go back to, zero even, it's going to take a lot of truth telling and a lot of corroborating and a lot of communication for us to be like, hey, maybe, maybe this is not really what I've seen before. We had the hope that it would not be what we always seen, obviously, because of, what I've seen personally in the interview with Sean Ryan and Kash Patel. I was blown away that this guy got it after speaking like that. I thought he will never get it. He'll never get in, and he got it. And I'm, fuck, man. Dude. And I listened to that interview like 3 times, reminding myself, oh shit, this is coming. That's great. And Bongino, obviously, I'm an avid listener, and it's interesting because the only reason why I became an avid listener of the Dan Bongino show when I became part of the Bongino army is because I used to use him first as corroborating. You hear some crazy bullshit in Joe Rogan Experience and Tim Dillon or Kurt Metzger or one of these crazy tinfoil dudes. Like, oh, we have evidence. The fucking royal family is now, we can confirm that they are lizards. Yeah, okay, they are lizard people. Amazing. Then you would go to Dan and he would be like, hey, bring you back to reality, kind of, okay, here is everything, here are the evidence, here's the paper, bring your receipts and all that. So I thought that was cool. And over the time, I realized this guy's not bullshitting. This guy's really saying everything that he thinks and everything that he knows. And when he cannot say it, he will say directly, I cannot say this because secret sources or whatever. So he told me the truth and I started trusting him. That's different. Like, you are coming from a place where there's major distrust. So, dude, you need to start telling it. There's no other way. Forget all this bullshit. That's not gonna work, Cash. I'm telling you now, free advice, consulting advice, don't do any of that. Because that's not gonna build any trust.
And Congress has rightfully requested the documents from Crossfire Hurricane to January 6th to the Richmond Catholic Memo and so much more. But now finally Americans are reading for themselves the documentation where a very select few...
Oh yeah, we are not retarded cheap. Who would have known? People have brains and can actually form sentences and create skeptic and questionable thoughts and realize when they're being fucked over. Oh man, yay. Fucking
leaders in the former FBI decided to politicize it. We don't need me and the deputy telling you it's politicized. We want the American people to read it, and now they are.
And I know I lived with it for for you. I watched it with you and Devin Nunes when you were truth tellers on all of this, and you were as well, Dan, throughout the Russia collusion story and the rest.
Look, I can speak to the folks that were in our seats, our predecessors, and they intentionally failed the American public by putting on the biggest DC deception game we've ever seen. They said the FBI was the most storied institution for law enforcement, and it was. And it will be again very soon. But when the likes of Comey and McCabe and Strzok and company came in here with the James Bakers of the world and intentionally lied to a federal court only to rig a presidential election by lying to the American public and using taxpayer dollars, likely illegally, to fund this entire operation, and then withhold exculpatory information from a federal court that I used to appear before to manhunt terrorists, that's what broke the FBI. And then when they were caught, they lied about it. And you and a few others like Dan and others were brave enough to cover it 6, 7, 8 years ago. And we're still talking about it today because as Congress is working rigorously with us, the Crossfire Hurricane documents are coming fast and hard. And they're being sent there unredacted so we can have full accountability. And that's how you restore what the trust that was lost to the American public when it comes to the FBI.
Yeah, it's a start, bro. It's a start. Like, you bring all of the dirtiness of Comey and the previous FBI that hasn't been corrupt for the past 7 years or whatever you said. It's been since the inception. So you start bringing that shit up. You start bringing JFK up. You start bringing all that stuff the way that you promise. And then, yes. But, okay, let's say that you have part of the solution. Are we going to see that happening? Can we keep you accountable that you're going to bring Comey and you're going to put him behind bars? Who believes this? Write me in the comment if you believe this bullshit.
Yeah, but come on, Director, with all due respect, we've been talking about this for a long time,
Oh, man.
and I've been demanding accountability
Fuck yeah, I like this girl. Push back. Yeah, push them back.
for many, many years. One of the, you mentioned Comey, Strzok, and the rest, they've got TV shows, they've got media platforms, they're fine, there's been no accountability.
Well, look, it's a fair criticism, but what I will tell people is we weren't here in the FBI in the last 5 years when we had statute of limitations that were still in play, where we could have investigated criminal conduct. Most of these statute of limitations are 5 years old. And we will investigate criminal conduct where we find a righteous case to do so, and the law and the facts allow us to. But a lot of it we're precluded from. So we'll take the criticism, and it's rightfully so, that could we have done more in the past? Sure, people before us could have. But what we can do now is continue to put out the documents and the information that these people withheld from the American public. And I'm just telling you right now, as much as we know about Crossfire Hurricane, he and I just found out more last week. And we're continuing to work with Congress to put those documents out. That's how vindictive and vicious the former leadership structure here was. Not only did they bastardize the FISA process and lie to the American public, they withheld and hid documentation and put it in rooms where people weren't supposed to look. And it's a good thing we're here now to clean it up, and you're about to see a wave of transparency.
What do you mean?
Just give us about a week or two.
Okay. Well, I can tell you right now that the judge that gave a smack on the wrist on the one agent that lied and, misled the American people, that's the same judge who's back and stopping Donald Trump from doing things, isn't it? Judge Boasberg?
Yeah, I just got to push back. Listen, we've been here 2 months. He's been here a couple more weeks than that. I mean, we've been here 2 months. You're dealing with a 38,000 member organization and an approximately $12 billion budget.
Fair point.
Where
I don't think it's a fair point. First of all, Dan, I didn't figure out for the bitch victim. Oh, boo-hoo. It's only been 2 months. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. And Kash sounded pretty badass when he told Sean Ryan, and the first day, I'm gonna send them to be cops. It seemed like he had a pair of balls between his legs. And now you give me this shit? Boo-hoo, boo-hoo, it's only been 2 months. Give us a break. Blah, blah, blah. No, man, this is ridiculous. And besides, this is probably personal feeling from me, but if you only have 2 months and you are prioritizing trust, release the Epstein files, man. This is a fucking trampoline rocket ship directly straight to public trust. You're dealing with, the election steal and Russia, and January 6th, all that stuff. Fine. Like, wait, let me check the audio. Okay. All that stuff, it's important. I get it. But it's not, it happened already. Like, okay, they stole the election, maybe, but Trump won last year. So, maybe it's just meant to be. Everything happens for a reason, whatever. And you want to punish the corruption that did that so it doesn't happen again. Amazing. Great. But otherwise, like, even if you came tomorrow and said, hey, here it is, we have the proof, 100% they stole the election, I would be like, where are the Epstein files, man? Like, who gives a it's fine. Trump won. Move on. It's okay. People put Comey behind bars, which, as I said, I don't think is gonna happen. But yeah, fine. But dude, you're prioritizing trust, you say. Where are the Epstein files? Spend your 2 months, stop crying, and spend it fucking every waking second uncovering Epstein files, the Epstein list, some videos, something. It's fucking like shooting in the dark with these people.
To expect us in 2 months to dig up what was a 8-year, maybe longer, multi-year politicized investigation with multiple layers of processes, from Woods procedures being just thrown in the garbage can and flushed down the toilet bowl, to multiple layers of accountability where people lied and obfuscated. I'm not asking you to trust me. You want this done right, or you want it done quickly? Because you can't have it both ways. You want it done quickly, we'll do it. And you know what'll happen? Just what happened last time. Those same Spygate collusion perpetrators sued the government, got money, got all this shit. You want that? We'll do it. We'll do it quickly and do it wrong.
But are you saying you...
No, man, as I said, do it slowly. Like, what's the rush? If you are overwhelmed by this 8-year case, imagine Epstein. That's gonna be triple overwhelming. So put all of your resources there. You know that this is what the public wants. And I think Dave Smith said it properly. I don't remember in his own show or at Rogan. He said, if you would have a 1-hour show every day dedicated only to Epstein, it would be the #1 show in the country. And I agree. This is what everybody's waiting. We want to see names. We want to see, like, let's start with names. Accountability would be like fucking, But let's start with names. Gives us a list of 3. Give us 3-5 names. Hey, just some leak or something. This, and then complain. Oh man, this case is... Then if you are complaining about this case being complicated, how can we hope that you're going to do anything with Epstein? Which is international fucking network, many governments and secret agencies, and like, dude, this is, then Epstein is the moon to you, if this is a problem. Low standards, man. Talking about fucking low standards. Are you serious?
Found things that even you didn't know about? I mean, you were at the core of this.
Yes. I was the lead Russiagate investigator for the House Intelligence Committee. And I've been on both your shows in a prior life talking about it. And I'm telling you and the American public that we have now found material and information and people who wanted to hide it from the world since we got in these seats. And we, as the deputy said, we are trying to do it in a fashion where not only are we informing the American public of what happened, but we can have accountability for it. And that takes a little bit more time. And when you layer on the fact that we are rolling out our priorities on violent crime and defending the homeland, we're running a 3-part animal here, and we're going 100 miles an hour in each single one.
So important.
Wait, I want to add to that, too, because what the director's saying is right. You got to remember, we come in the morning, there's a portfolio of 100 level 10 items. If it's a level 9, which is a pretty big freaking deal, someone else fixed it. The only thing that gets to my desk or his is a level 10. That's the entire day. Look at his schedule any given day. I'll show you the palm card I have. It is filled from 7:30 to he leaves 7 at night, 6:30 at night.
Okay, so first he was crying about how it's only been 2 months, and now he's crying about how busy they are. Oh, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. We are so busy, and it's only been 2 months. Oh my God. This is what didn't you know already? You've been talking about this for fucking years, over a decade, I think, Dan, and you didn't know that it was gonna be like this, and now you're fucking boohoo. Please have patience. Are you serious? Fucking coming out for the first time after doing a 13-minute interview, asking us to be patient because it's been 2 months and you're so busy every day, all day. Oh my god, poor us. Dude, talk about fucking, what the fuck, man? What is this?
It's filled all day. We just can't focus on one thing. You want New York to go boom, DC to go boom. You want an OC organization to go hack into some cyber network and crack all of Fox News' holdings. We're dealing with all that stuff too. Everything's a priority. Everything's a priority. This is one of many things.
Okay, I have to say that's a fair point. I didn't think about that until now. That you do have daily fires. It's not only about what happened. You do have to put up with daily fires. Like, I know what that's like. Yeah, 100% shit happens, shit comes in, security risk and all that stuff happens every day. So you need to be up to date while at the same time you catch up. I get that part. But yeah, that's 5% of credit that I'm actually giving you.
It's not an excuse. It's just reality.
Now, the Democrats are turning on you, right? I mean, I saw your hearing the other day, and critics have accused you of using the FBI to target political enemies. So set the record straight. You wrote an entire book about it, Government Gangsters. Tell us, how do you respond to the attacks?
Very simply, the FBI's prior leadership left us an institution, that is a police force for America and the world, that allowed a fentanyl overdose to occur and kill an American citizen every 7 minutes. That prior FBI's leadership, Comey, McCabe, left us an FBI that allowed for a woman or child to be raped every 6.5 minutes in this country. That same leadership structure left us an FBI that permitted a man or woman to be killed twice an hour in this country. That's our response to them. When I go to Congress and I go to the Hill, I say, hey, I'm not policing your neighborhood because it's a Republican or Democratic. I'm asking you for help on what your priorities are and what your resources needs are and where you need training, and we're going to send them to you. That's why we're putting 1,500 FBI employees into the field and outside of Washington, D.C. Now, if the Democrats want to play politics with that...
I have seen, I don't know if anybody has seen out there also, because I haven't done research on this, so I really don't know, but I have seen that lately some pedophile circles are being dismantled. Does anybody know if that has something to do with this? If you do, please let me know, because I just thought of that right now. I'm gonna do some more research later.
They're the elected officials. They get
because it's so like, well, I guess that they would fucking show off, right? Look what we have done, all these pedophiles and pedo rings that we have actually dismantled, blah blah blah. But in that case, yeah, then these 1,500 agents, like, we have done some good, right? Something has been done, you know, against the blob or against the status quo or whatever. But they're not claiming any, I don't know who like which intelligence or who was funding or whatever those I don't know, how do you call it, missions or whatever. But yeah, it's good to see at least some good news in general from the world.
Say what they want, but yelling at me and Bongino, we could take it all day long.
I don't even understand why. Why did they do that? I mean, why put the FBI and its reputation at risk? What, it was just to win an election? Why?
Because they're weak. Because they're weak. I hate weak people. I can't stand it. They didn't have. We're on TV, so I already said BS once. But they didn't have the guts, the courage, or the character to do the right thing. They did the easy thing. Donald Trump became a convenient political football. They thought they could leverage. They thought they thought with the media on their side that they'd get away with it.
I know that there are cells, drug trafficking cells and human trafficking cells. How significant is this in America?
It's everywhere. I mean, when you open up the border, like, look.
Well, yeah. Besides the, we are tough, we can take this. After crying that it's been 2 months, please be patient, and we are so busy. But whatever you throw at us, we are tough and we can take it. Yeah, okay. But the rest, obviously, I think it's when it comes to the border and like continued affluence of millions of immigrants, human trafficking, drug trafficking, and all sorts of stuff that none of us know about, that for sure is happening. Obviously, everybody agrees with this one, and that's not their job, though. I mean, I guess so, but Tom Homan is on top of that. So if they're about, I hope they're not about to take credit for that. I hope so.
That's not a political statement. The border was open for 4 years. So what happens is crime metastasizes. What happens is you have hundreds of thousands of illegals come across, and a bunch of them are really bad criminals. Not all of them, but a bunch of them. And then they nest into societies. And this is why we're rolling out Mexican street gang task forces across the country, because it's not the international gangs that are just the problem. It's these inner city gangs that exist in 1 or 2 towns here and there and have metastasized and taken over the drug trade, the sex trafficking trade, the child forced labor trade, and the gang trade. They are all in, and no one has been focusing on them because our cities and our elected leadership has allowed them to live without being policed. But that's over now that Dan and I are in the seat.
This is so scary. And what do you want to say to families out there, mothers who are afraid for their young girls that they may get taken?
I want to put everyone at ease watching this today. There is, I hate cliches, but there really is a new sheriff in town. His name is Donald J. Trump. This administration, in conjunction with General Bondi and our director, Kash Patel, I am in the briefing, Maria, with the 5 of us, Emil, the PDAG, Todd, the DAG, AG, Kash, and me, every morning over at DOJ. The attitude every morning from the president on down, he, the president of the United States, wants this FBI to be able to, in 1 month, 6 months, a year, or 2 years, wants to be able to get out in front of the American people and say, your lives are noticeably different. He doesn't want fairy tales, Aesop's fables. He doesn't want any of that stuff. He wants people to be able to touch it and feel it.
Well, yeah, because nobody wants that stuff. I mean, I guess he knows what the public wants more than you guys when it comes to like trust or what the public wants in general. Obviously, everything that he said that Trump wants is what I want. And I would say there's a high percentage that is what you want as well. And yeah, everything they said, it's obvious, you know. But again, Trump is pushing them to be efficient, and you know, it's been 2 months. Ooh, yeah.
I don't care if you're in Stewart, Florida, or Harlem, New York. He wants you to walk outside and say, wow, my neighborhood does look different.
Where are the biggest cells?
A couple of cuts, by the way. Have you noticed this? It's I've seen already 3 or 4. There's very obvious cuts in this interview, poorly edited, I guess. So before we keep going, I just noticed that it says watch part 1 here, and I was giving them shit about doing a short interview. That's my bad. I oversaw that. But the reason you saw the cut is because I did a cut, and I was looking for part 2, which is here, and it's
to a few specifics.
10 minutes. So it was a 23-minute interview, and I wonder if they recorded 30 minutes, 40, an hour. Then the question is how much they recorded, for how long, and how much was edited out. But we have seen several cuts, and yeah, of course I will then talk about this after this one. But let's keep going here first.
In the country. And how does it work? Are there spotters? Like, how does it work?
It's based on a variety of factors. So when it comes to trafficking, you got to look at the interstate system and look at the intersections of the interstate system running through the Midwest and across the country. Then you just got to look for hard evidence. I didn't know this till my confirmation process, but Memphis, Tennessee is the homicide capital of America per capita. Didn't know that. We have a problem there. We're now addressing it. We're rolling out one of our task forces in the state of Tennessee. But we also know that Ohio possesses the roadway system where the trafficking is through the roof just because of the interstate. So you have to get out there in the field, not just let the FBI agents and intel folks get out there and do the work, but partner with state and local law enforcement, which is a priority, and tribal law enforcement. That's a big, big deal for us. We are not forgetting about Indian country. They suffer from the same violent crime that we do in the rest of America, and we're going to help them. And And that's how you learn the ground-based level facts that you need to deploy our assets. We're not coming up with anything fancy. We're just attacking the problem, but we're smart enough to go after the information and say, that's where the problem is because you told us it's there. Now we know we're going.
That's interesting. What about the big cities? I mean, we've heard about Tren de Aragua being in New York City.
Yeah, we're about to ruin your summer if you're a bad guy. So I'm just warning you now, like, don't buy movie tickets because you're probably not going to cash them in. So the director and I put something together in conjunction with our DOJ partners, General Bondi and Dag Blanche, actually this morning. And if you're a violent criminal, this FBI under our leadership, we don't care who gets the credit. All we care about is making your streets safer, actually safer.
Okay, so that's it for the first part. And again, now he's acting the tough guy after taking off his diapers full of poo poo and putting them in the trash. He's like, oh yeah, I'm boss baby. Be wary of our presence in New York. So yeah, when they have like 100 congressmen plus the mayor plus this plus like all of the protesters, everybody to go through before you get to fine, okay, cool, we will see. So obviously most of the hot clips that I have seen are in part 2 because I think everything I saw here was new. So I will go to part 2 and publish it probably tomorrow or something. And not to be so gloom and doom about life, I don't like being a cynicist actually. So yeah, I mean, I still do have the hope that because we have these two guys who not long ago were talking so straight and so honest, and they were basically other people actually. So we have those people inside now, and I can only hope that they have to like pretend and do some sort of, you know, they are they are seeing the lines way thinner, way closer. So we here talking, and they when they were talking outside, you can color outside of the line a little bit. Nobody cares. But when you are dealing inside with documents, with the legal thing, and of course the corrupt standing in the way and hiding papers on purpose and all that shit. So it takes time to learn that. It takes time to find the right people you can trust and put them in your inner circle, maybe send them a little bit undercover and all that stuff. I get that. I give them this. And I also get it why they couldn't say it out loud. They couldn't just tell us, hey guys, like, we know this is a bunch of bullshit, but we have to do this because we don't want to break our cover to what we're really doing. So that's my hope. That would be my non-cynicist hopeful side. Just yeah, obviously hoping for the best. And yeah, thank you everybody. We're done for this part, I guess part 1. I will be releasing part 2 probably tomorrow. And thank you all for sharing this time with me and hanging out here in my very first episode. And yeah, if you like it, obviously like and follow my shit. And yeah, if enough people like it, I can keep doing it. Who knows? So all right guys, thanks for hanging out and see you soon.